BTB listeners, thank you so much for checking out today's episode. Listen, if this episode inspires you, do me a favor and take 5 seconds to shoot me a like and subscribe to the podcast. There are several more exciting guests that are in the pipeline, and I just can't thank you enough for your continued support, and let's keep paying the mission forward. In today's BTB Influencers, we're going to explore one of the most profound musicians that I've come across, Canadian rapper Dax. We're going to discuss his life and how his music has impacted the BTB project and will impact you as a listener. We're going to highlight Dax's journey from an inspiring basketball player to a successful artist. This discussion delves into the themes of self-empowerment, resilience, authenticity, and spiritual reflection. Dax is known for his thought-provoking lyrics and his ability to inspire listeners to overcome challenges and embrace personal growth. Throughout the episode, I'm going to emphasize the power of Dax's storytelling and encourage you to recognize your unique potential to face life's difficult circumstances with determination and integrity.
Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you, baby.
Welcome to the BTB Project, designed to empower listeners to identify their why and to live their best lives no matter the circumstances. My name is Kollman Gearhart, a former athlete and motivational coach. I've had the opportunity to inspire thousands through my story and help accomplish what they are built to be. You'll be encouraged by each and every episode, and let's get into it.
Yeah, when I blow up, I'ma soar high like Peter Pan. In real life, be living out my dreams. If I'm waking up, it's in a foreign land.
I don't know about you, but it certainly seems to be unprecedented times in our world, in our country. I want to spend some time today in this BTB Influencers episode to talk about some music that I came across a few months ago that has spoken to me in a way that draws parallels to what could be seemed as dark in the world and where there's still areas of light and hope. And this gentleman is a Canadian-born rapper out of Ottawa. His name is Dax. I, back in the day, loved me some genuine hip-hop music. I grew up in the 90s, 2000s, where the undercover street hip-hop was pretty popular. I grew up with artists like Jurassic 5, Tribe Called Quest, and the music just always fired me up, whether it was a workout or hanging out, studying at school, driving in my car. And obviously the beat of the music is what always allows us to want to tune in as people that enjoy the various musics that are out there. But the meaning behind the words, and I want to share Dax's story because it's one that not only tells a tale of what's possible if you're determined and make the decision to co-sign your own life and go for it, but it's also an opportunity to have some perspective and tools that have helped me in my daily habits and how I'm approaching life. But I know it will also help you as the listener. And Dax, early on, even though he was raised in Canada, born Nigerian, and he attended college actually in Wichita, Kansas, a very interesting change from Canada to Kansas, being a Colorado native, I can't imagine what that transition was like, but he was an inspiring basketball player. I give him a ton of respect, knowing my background being a student athlete and playing tennis. He was very gifted in basketball, and everything that I've researched about him is that he had the opportunity to not only play high level Division 1 basketball, but he had aspirations of playing pro. And it was somewhere around 2016, he was essentially with his team and they were on a bus ride to go play a game, and he was jotting down some poetry, and one of his teammates came across what he was writing and said, "Dude, Dax, this stuff is really good, like life-changing good." And these are the types of stories that I love because more often than not, a lot of the things that we're talented at in life, it doesn't come because of this linear line of, oh, you wake up one day and say, I'm going to become a rapper or I'm going to become a basketball player. It actually comes from an inadvertent moment where you realize the talent that you have, other people realize the talent that you have, and you end up going for it. So as I've been listening to Dax's music, there's a lot of big takeaways that I take from his message. He's had a lot of hardships in life, as most of us can relate to, but he's able to eloquently verbalize it in a way that resonates with a lot of different avenues. People that came from hardship, people that have been involved in broken relationships, people that have had aspirations to be an athlete and had to make a pivot like he did. He most recently came out with a YouTube video of a song that was a remake of Jay-Z and Eminem's Renegade. And this remix that he did was a one camera shot, no takes, just him rapping. And it's essentially around him saying that he's quitting rap. And his music has really evolved over the years. In some cases, it might sound like uh, almost like a country type of vibe to spoken word to hip hop to rap. And it shows you the power of creativity and expression because of the decisions he's been able to make, telling the truth, being real, that it allows his music to go into several different sectors that allow people to reflect. I certainly have, in many times, listened to what he's saying and have it resonate to my own personal situation. And Dax's message has absolutely been an impact on the BTB project. And it's my obligation to you as the listener to bring content, to bring ideas and concepts that allow you to become the strongest version of yourself, to allow you to become 1% better. And it's these types of influencers like Dax that I'm hoping will allow you to open your eyes and see what's possible based off of his journey, his experience, his exposure to the world. And I want to walk through a few key themes that I've taken away from his most recent remix and dissecting the lyrics to see how it can be applicable to you and I. And Dax has always been, since he's picked up the microphone, an influential rapper. He's primarily known for his thought provoking lyrics and unique storytelling. All of us have an expression, a way to express it. And his remix showcases his dedication to being true to himself, to not sugarcoat what he's saying into the microphone, but to allow his passion to address important social issues that we're seeing not only today, but in the past, and a kind of commonality of where we're at today as a country, as a society. And I want to make very clear that I don't want to have a political stance on the podcast. I want to be able to talk through just some of the things that are going on and tie it back to his lyrics. And more importantly, use it as a vessel that's going to help impact your life and change the trajectory of where you're going. And the first piece that he covers very distinctively, not just in his remix, but in all of his songs, is being able to have self empowerment and authenticity. Dax emphasizes recognizing one's own worth and power. He has a lyric in this song saying, I am a king in every domain. And that's urging us to assert ourselves despite challenges. How many times have you been in situations where you've been in a huge challenge and you clamshell a little bit? You get to a point where you isolate and don't want to face it because it's too hard, too challenging, too scary. Fill in all of the things that allow you not to go after it. And we all can relate in some way or another the things that hold us back from our potential. But he urges us to assert ourselves into these challenges. He says also, storming through every beat, how I thunder and bring the pain. I've talked about this on previous episodes, but pain and suffering is part of the process. As we're chasing goals, dreams, and ambitions, if you aren't feeling something that is outside of your comfort zone, in my personal opinion, you're not doing it right. There's nothing about being an impact in the world or making a change or getting down to the deep, dark nitty gritty of who you are that isn't going to come with a certain level of discomfort. And I appreciate his willingness to share words about the truth of that pain and how that pain can drive you in one of two directions. It either can provide an avenue for you to get out of it, to make a change, to make a positive impact, to learn from it, or to become completely submissive to it, to have it debilitate you and isolate you from what you're capable of doing in your life. And after critiquing critical thinking and awareness, he dives deep into resilience and perseverance. This is something I can deeply relate to, thinking about all the things that I've experienced in my life, having, in some cases, metaphorically, everything thrown at me except the kitchen sink. You have a choice in that moment. And Dax speaks from personal experience of how he's overcome obstacles. He says, I just turned 30 years old. I've been beat down, stepped on, cheated on, broke. In that moment, he's highlighting the resilience and the ability to rise above adversity. Think about it with your life. Have you ever had a moment where you felt beat down? Have you ever had a moment where not only you felt beat down, but while you're down there, people are continuing to step and make an example out of you? Have you ever been in a relationship where you've been cheated on? One of the worst things I've ever heard about, but it happens all the time. What about financially? Have you checked your bank account and maybe that bank account's red instead of in the green? What does it feel like to be in that moment? What are you going to do about it? Resiliency is essentially coming across failures, but maintaining enthusiasm to keep going, to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And through that, you're able to overcome that adversity And it doesn't happen overnight. A lot of people want the quick fix when they're in these difficult circumstances, but the truth is, it's these little habitual moments that you put together every day that creates new habits, that creates moments of understanding and clarity and simplicity that allow you to rise from the ashes. And that's why he's adamant too in his lyrics about individuality and integrity. Dax champions individuality and integrity, and he's urging us to stay true to ourselves and not succumb to the societal pressures or superficially what the world wants us to be. He says, I am a renegade for what I say, not what I wear. How many times do you live your life with a mask on? Don't want people to know who you are, hiding. What type of individuality or integrity are you building? Is it something that is authentic and true to yourself? I recently have learned in my life that the importance of bringing all of the skeletons and darkness into the light is always the first step for you to build a foundation of confidence, integrity, individuality. I heard some crazy number the other day that out of everyone that's born in the world, 600 some odd billion people, that your DNA, your gene chain, it's in your bloodstream, in your body. It's completely different from everybody else. You are unique in the way that you've been designed. You are unique in the way that you've been molded and shaped into who you are. And being able to have those moments of understanding that uniqueness and how you are a extraordinary example of what's possible, of what can be done because you're staying true to yourself. A lot of those times that you think about the words that we say, it might feel like a renegade moment to say them. I feel like that authenticity, that true to oneself, within the context of being respectful and wanting the best intentions for everyone that you come across, we don't do it enough. We tend to suppress what we want to say to try to fit into the algorithm of the world. And when you start suppressing that, when you start kind of losing that individuality and becoming part of more of the rat race, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help anybody. Again, you are 1 in 600 billion. Use those gifts, those traits, those attributes, those goals, those ambitions, and go make the best of it. Go be a risk taker. But step one is always recognizing that you're an individual and that you have the ability to do something extraordinary. Dax also taps into the spiritual and moral aspects of his life, always saying it through his lyrics. And he's touching on this deep spiritual and moral themes, such as grappling with his personal faith and the challenges of living authentically in a world filled with distractions and moral obligations. If you're not one that can relate to this, you're simply not a human being. The pressures that we have of trusting and having faith in something that's greater in ourselves compared to the norm of people that might not have a God in their life, people that are not believers. There's a lot of situations where they are trying to reach and hold on to things that eventually are not the truth and the promise. That can be really challenging for people. That can be a, let's say, crutch to having extraordinary things happen in your life. And I just appreciate his honesty to be able to share that he has that battle every day and a part of this quitting rap. And the reason why he released this YouTube video is to start diving deeper more into his faith and have his music be a vessel for the good news, a vessel for what he's experienced and how he's been able to integrate faith into his life and into the world. Through the multiple songs that Dax has been able to release, being a heavy influence on social media, his lyrics critique various social issues that we see in the world, from political manipulation to social trends to prompting us to reflect on border societal issues and their implications. One of the lyrics says, global warming's real, detrimental, and problematic. Now, all of the nuances of global warming and how it's impacting the earth, that's way above my pay grade. But what I do know is a lot of the things that have been pushed as far as initiatives that are deemed to be good for us, that are deemed for environmental friendly and to do what's best for being practical, understanding where we're at in the world, that might not actually be the right thing to do. It's tough because when you start getting into these types of conversations, you're putting yourself in a position to be judged. But judgment is something that we face each and every day. All of us have these moments of when we put ourselves out there, there's always going to be resistance. And whether it's a song that I've listened to from Dax or something that I've experienced in my own life, the moment I start speaking, even into this microphone on this podcast, you're going to start getting comments. You're going to start getting people that are going to have an opinion. And why does that happen? Because a lot of people that have the opinions that want to put you down are ones that don't want you to have a message. They don't want you to succeed. They're going to do whatever it takes to suppress the gift that you have. And I embrace that challenge. It took me over 13 years to get to a point where I felt comfortable enough sending a communication out to the masses, even though I spent the better part of 20 years of my life helping people on an individual basis become the strongest version of themselves and watching them thrive and watching them succeed. Why in the heck would I not want to give to even more people? Why would I not want to share the good news and share some of these interviews and stories and personal reflections to see if it can impact even more people? So don't let people suppress your voice. I want to make very clear the impact that Dax has had on the BTB project. There's a few themes that I know will align too with where you're at in your life and how you're approaching the next step, how you're going to make a change and a shift to do something extraordinary. I myself, knowing I came from the acronym Big Teddy Bear and struggle with a lot of self-confidence, I appreciate Dax's music because he's empowering individuals become the strongest version of themselves. I know people who listen to the BTB project will resonate with that same message that he has. And it's that focus on self-empowerment, resilience. That's aligning perfectly to the mission of BTB. His lyrics encourage us to assert their worth and power, provide inspiration to anyone and everyone to overcome their own challenges. It's not if, but when. The challenge will come. And how are you equipping yourself to overcome it? How are you equipping yourself to persevere, to thrive in those moments? Again, encouraging authenticity. Be yourself. I wanted to be a college tennis player. Everyone looked at me like I had 10 heads when I made that decision, but I made it because that's what I wanted to do. I didn't quite look the part yet when I was a young kid, over 300 pounds, making that decision. But in my mind, I saw it. In my heart, I felt it. And slowly but surely, I went after it and was able to accomplish my goal. Also, too, being able to be a critical thinker. Dax has some pretty complicated, thought provoking lyrics. And that's all through his personal reflection of his own life. Remember his teammate when he was on that bus in college, saw his writing, saw what he was capable of in his poetry, said, man, this stuff is brilliant. You got to let more people know about this. You got to keep writing. You got to express yourself. Through that, he's been able to tackle a lot of different topics, a lot of different situations, and his media influence inspires all of us to become critical thinkers. That's a key component in your life. As you're questioning and as you're analyzing information that you encounter on a day to day basis, you're starting to foster a mindset of awareness and skepticism. It's not always best to be skeptical, but to have an awareness of what's out there and what's right and what's wrong, and being able to make your decisions accordingly will allow the efficiency of your life and the efficiency of your decision making to impact you in more ways than you could ever imagine. Fostering resilience. If you haven't checked out my personal story of the BTB project, check it out, episode 88. The resiliency piece is something that I deeply resonate with Dax and his ability to take this gift that he has and go from athlete to singer and have these words impact the amount of people that he has. That mirrors the BTB project. And it's that commitment to helping individuals build resilience in the face of life challenges. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm speaking into this microphone today. Also, too, Dax is big on personal growth and being able to have continuous learning. He's an advocate for personal growth, educational reinforcers. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to provide content and things that I come across in my life as I'm learning and hope that it impacts you. I say often that this podcast sometimes is more important for me than it is to anything that I say to somebody else, because it forces me to continue to make the reps to learn, to grow, to adapt and adjust. You, as a listener, get the opportunity to invest your time into becoming mentally stronger and learn more about emotional development and ensure that you're continuing to make progress and not stalling out. We all have inspirational influences, and Dax lyrics serve as a powerful tool for everything that I'm doing on the B2B project. He's inspiring and empowering individuals to embrace their true selves, to think critically, to strive for continuous personal growth and development. His message of self-empowerment, resilience, and integrity resonate deeply with this project's mission. And last but not least, the community impact. Dax has quite a following on Spotify, social media. He posts often about how grateful he is of all of the people that he's been able to bring together because of his music. And here I am with the BTB project being streamed in over 40 countries and having people tune in to each and every episode because they feel like they're being fed. And collectively, we're helping individuals navigate the complexities of modern life. And they're doing it with resilience. They're doing it with integrity and a commitment to just getting 1% better each and every day. These themes of critical thinking, spiritual reflection, and social critique. This is a lot of the things that we're fighting through together on the BTB project. And as you're able to reflect, as you're able to take all of these different moving parts in your life and create it into an avenue to where you're just knowing that tomorrow is a better day than yesterday, knowing that the next hour is going to be better than the hour before. You're putting each and every foot one step in front of the other to go after life, to go do things that you never thought you can do. And I highly suggest that you yourself check out Dax's music. I'll leave a link to his Spotify in the podcast notes. Also a link to his YouTube video with his remix of the Jay-Z Eminem song Renegade. Just listen to his lyrics. I'm telling you, the guy will blow your mind and he'll inspire the heck out of you. Listen. If this BTB Influencers episode regarding the music artist Dax, if it inspired you, do me a favor and like and subscribe to the BTB project. Better yet, send this message to a family member, friend, or colleague and tell them why Dax's music has impacted you. Tell them why it's important to have that individuality, why it's important to have resilience and take it to pay it forward. It's doing this together in a BTB community is where it not only impacts us as individuals, but it creates a movement and allows us to collectively as a group do things that we never thought we can do. As always, I'm proud of each and every one of you. And until next time, take care.
You're told I'll be your harder temptation.